Hey guys, welcome back. Scott here with a new beer dissection video. What I have today to talk about is from New Belgium, Voodoo Ranger brand called Hop Raider IPA. I'm sure I'll have the picture over the can. It has the familiar skeleton guy on there. If you followed me for a little while, you realize I like to pick up those compilation packs, and that's usually, most of the time they're 12 packs, whether it's Sam Adams, Saranac, Southern Tier. This one obviously is from the Voodoo Ranger line through New Belgium. And the reason why, just to remind those that are a little bit newer to my channel, is that I like to get a nice little kind of broad spectrum of a particular brewery. And it's always fun, especially if I'm doing a beer channel too. I have some new beer material because they're always kind of creating different beers. And sometimes it's holiday or seasonal and things like that. So recently I picked up the Voodoo Ranger. It was the action pack, I believe, and it had, at the filming of this, I think I've recorded, I haven't posted them yet, but there's like 2 or 3 of them. Obviously they're all IPAs, and when you think of the Voodoo Ranger brand, usually you think of IPAs, and I think they're always usually pretty solid. This one has Juice Force, which is one of the ones I don't like. I don't like the Juice Force or the Fruit Force, but there's Hop Raider, and I'm not going to be able to think of all 3 of them that were newer to the Captain Dynamite was another one that was pretty good. But so far, so good with reviewing the ones that were new to me, other than Juice Force, which again, I'm not a big fan of, and I have reviewed that one. I'm probably not going to review it again in this particular pack, but I'm sure I've had the picture of the box like over my face already of this particular 12-pack, 4 beers, 3 of each. Okay, you can do the math. This one's coming in at, 8.1% alcohol, which leave it to the United States for us to, especially with the Voodoo Ranger brand, boost things around 8, 7, 8, 9. I think Juice Force, if I remember correctly, is about 9.5%. And it can be good or bad. It depends on how you look at it. This one is not really telling us too much info on the can. Remember, New Belgium's out of Fort Collins, Colorado, but they do have, I think it's Mills River and Asheville. I think they also brew out of. I could be mistaken. Now, that's probably Sierra Nevada brews out of there. But Fort Collins, Colorado. And they were bought out by, I think it was Lion Beverage out of Australia several years ago, which is like a subsidiary of Kirin Beer. But anyway, let's take a look at this one. And just see if there's a date on the bottom of the can. So it looks like it's a drink by May 24. I'm filming this in February, late February. So we got roughly 5 more months for what they consider, fresh. All right, so let's take a look at this. Okay, I'm using my regular Tiku glass that you've seen me use on this channel quite a bit. So what do we have? Got a nice, 1.5 inch, pretty white to off-white dense head. Pretty tight compact bubbles for the majority of the head here. Looks pretty nice. We're even getting some of my nucleation points on the bottom of my glass. I'm not sure if you can see it, but we've got the consistent bubbles rising to the top. Hopefully you can see that. It's actually a pretty cool effect from the nucleation points on this glass. So what do we have? We kind of have that medium gold kind of color, slight chill haze to it. They don't classify this as a New England IPA, so it doesn't have that same opaqueness, murky, flour and water type of look to it. It just kind of looks pretty clear, maybe subtle chill haze. But again, I'm loving my nucleation bubbles coming off the bottom of my Teku glass here. But anyway, let's take a sniff of it. Wow, it's weird. You kind of got... There's definitely citrus. I'm getting like lime. Maybe even like a little bit of peach, like stone fruit. Maybe subtle orange on the citrus, but more like, not like very strong pungent orange. It's kind of like a little more subdued. Almost like orange rind, stone fruit. It's weird. I'm getting kind of like the perception of almost like you walk into a tire store, almost like rubber, okay, which is not great. I mean, Doesn't smell too bad, but I'm actually kind of getting like this phenolic kind of rubber aromatic. But there is definitely, I think it's more lime than orange on the aromatics, but something is giving me the perception of kind of like that rubbery smell. Okay, but I don't want to make it sound like it's really bad. I mean, it just kind of gives me that impression, but it still smells quite nice. I mean, drinkable. It's not like something I'm like, oh, something was spoiled. Let me dump it down the drain because, oh, it smells like tires. Okay, it just gives you that. It's almost like Simcoe hops kind of gives me that cat pee kind of aromatic as well as other people. And that doesn't sound too desirable, but it actually can, be a pleasant characteristic in many beers. So anyway, the malt, maybe there's kind of a light toast, light bread crust, maybe, just subtle. Nothing too over the top, not nutty, not caramel, anything like that. But you can even tell by the color of this beer, you're not going to be expecting that. Okay. Anyway, guys, cheers. Let's take a swig of this. Wow. Pretty high carbonated, medium bodied. Let me stick with the malt first. You're kind of getting that kind of candied, it's like toast, but candied, almost like a candied tangerine, candied lime, kind of like lime peel, even though we don't candy lime peels, but you kind of get that lime citrus again, maybe, but because there's some residual sweetness here, it's almost like a candied, one of those sugar-coated candies that you see that look like orange, but again, more lime than orange, okay? Kind of getting even a little bit of alcoholic warmth here, a little bit of that burn. Again, I said medium bodied. It's actually a little thinner than medium bodied. But on the aftertaste, I'm kind of left with kind of that bread crust with a little residual sweetness to it. But it's kind of tricking me because it kind of gives me that little candied effect. But on the first impression, it was kind of like drier than I would expect. Maybe I'm just expecting like Fruit Force is like a candy bomb. It's like so much residual sweetness. It's almost cloyingly sweet. This is definitely a little sweeter than the other two I've reviewed from this packet. Captain Dynamite and I think it was Avenger was the other one that was on there. Definitely some burn there. But slightly medicinal. Some minerality to it too. You kind of get, but not too bad. It's. I don't think it's as good as the other two that at least at the filming of this, you may not have watched them or I may not have had them posted. I don't know what order I'm going to post them. I think the Avenger and the Captain Dynamite is a little bit better than this one. This is, again, remember, this is the Hop Raider IPA from New Belgium, Voodoo Ranger line. But definitely better than Juice Force, I'll tell you that. Or might as well say Fruit Force too. So if you're looking for an IPA, and I do recommend a lot of these Voodoo Ranger brand because they are economical. It's nice to have them in the back of the refrigerator. You have unexpected guests over, maybe they don't appreciate your $24 4-packs that you got at, Trillium or Treehouse or Hills Farmstead or whatever it may be. They're usually produce pretty solid beers. This one is, again, has some malt backbone, as far as light toast, candy, lime, slight citrus with even a little bit of orange, light toast character to the malt. Grade-wise on this, I'm going to give it a B-. It's definitely maybe just slightly below average, but, good enough that, again, if you had it over there, you wouldn't be ashamed to hand this to one of your neighbors that stop by for a beer. But there are definitely a lot more room for improvement with this beer. I think I like those other two that I said earlier, Dynamite and the Avenger, than this particular one. Anyway, guys, so again, citrus, bread crush, pretty nice, but just not up to the level of, even, the better beers in this range, the Voodoo Ranger Brett. Excuse me, sorry, getting the carbonations hitting me. So again, I'm going to say B-, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully you get a little idea about this pack as far as the 12-pack compilation. Look under beer dissection if you want to see the other beers to this category and or into this 12-pack compilation. But until the next beer dissection video, guys, have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.